Hi everybody and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. I'm sorry for this lighting. This is what happens when you film at 5 o'clock at night during daylight savings time or whatever that is, where it's like really, really dark at night. And so lots of artificial light right now. So that's why I look like an alien and that I'm glowing. But enough about that. I'm going to share with you the books that I read this week, not month. Um, I read two books and I DNF'd another book. So, in comparison to my monster wrap up last week, where I read like all these books that were like so long, I really didn't read like anything this week. The first book that I finished was The Year of the Fog by Michelle Richmond. You saw that I was reading this, I believe, Friday. Like, I had started it Thursday night, and I got only like 50 pages in, and then I think I finally finished it, Saturday after like all the cleaning and everything. This book turned out to be kind of a huge disappointment for me. It was only a 2-star read. It started off really amazing. Like, the first 50 pages had me so gripped. Like, I was even comparing it to Diane Chamberlain. That's how much I like loved it. It's about this woman who is engaged to this man who has a like 6-year-old daughter, and she's at the beach with her. She looks away for like 10 seconds, and the girl is missing. And it's basically like the whole book is her trying to find this little girl. Um, Great premise, but really, really boring. Like, there's a whole bunch of chapters which you just kind of like dove into like the psychology of memory and things like that. It's like, even for me, like, I was a psych major in college, like I got my undergrad in psychology. It was boring. Like, I don't want to read that. Just give me the juicy plot. Give me the Lifetime Movie Network plot. Like, that's what I want. And I really didn't get that except for the very beginning and like the very end. The parts where you actually got plot were good. I mean, some of the character reactions to things were not how I expected them to be, if that makes any sense. So, I don't know. I was really disappointed and I only gave this book 2 stars. Then I attempted on Sunday to start reading The Divorce Papers by Suzanne Rager. I was sent this by Blogging for Books in exchange for an honest review, and I feel really awful doing this, but like, I just wrote an entire blog post really descriptive about why I decided to DNF this book. I only got 123 pages in. I wanted to at least give it halfway before I DNF'd it, especially in the sense that I got this review. Like, that's not fair to the publisher, but I couldn't do it. It's been 3 days since I put this down, and I've had zero urge to pick this back up. It's told in like letters and emails, and I was so excited for this book. And like, the premise even sounds really good on the back, but it's bad. Like, unless you're a lawyer or like into law and things like that, you're not gonna like this book. I don't understand the characters. I don't feel connected to them, especially because the correspondence changes so often that like you almost have to like read who sent the email first before you read it. So you're not really getting a connection to the characters. It's very lawyery in the sense of like the paperwork. Like, you actually get to see the paperwork, and unless you're a lawyer, it really doesn't make much sense. Even the characters don't make much sense. Like, why would this woman want somebody who is a criminal lawyer to defend her in a divorce lawyer setting? And even like the divorce lawyer, like the lawyer is telling her boss like all the reasons why she shouldn't be put on the job. I'm sorry, your boss tells you to do something, you do it. Like, you don't go writing emails back with all these reasons why you shouldn't do your job. Like, I don't know. I just go check out my blog post. Definitely, I wrote like a bajillion paragraphs about why I did not really connect with this book. So go check my blog out because that will just explain this way more. And then the book that I finished next, which I just finished today, was Soundless by Richelle Mead. I was so excited to get this book. I pre-ordered it. If you didn't see my book haul, I pre-ordered it because Richelle Mead said if you pre-ordered it, you got this handy-dandy, like, special edition cover. And, I mean, I still have the regular cover. It's underneath. But, like, you get this cool cover on top of it. and it is signed by Rochelle Mead. Majority of my books that I have by Rochelle Mead are signed because I ordered it through her Washington bookstore, which usually sells her books signed. And most of them are actually personalized as well. This book is so interesting. Like, this book feels like a fairy tale or a folk tale being told to you. And I think it's very interesting because most of these characters in this story are deaf, and I did not know that going into this book. I did not even read the synopsis about this book. So I'm hoping I'm not spoiling you guys with anything because I definitely did not read the synopsis. And she lives on top of this mountain, and they kind of have like this trade going on to survive and get food to live on this mountain. And I just thought it was really interesting to see how a majority of these characters are deaf and how you have to deal with different situations because you can't actually talk and communicate in that way. I thought it was really, really interesting and really, really engaging. It has everything that Rochelle Mead always gives you: the adventure, the action, the romance, the really great relationships. Like the relationship between Faye and her sister are amazing. Like they would do anything for each other. That's what exactly like word for word basically what I wrote in my blog. Like they will do anything for each other. Like they're such sisters, which is great. It really reminded me of Rose and Tessa from Vampire Academy. I gave this book 4 stars though. There's just something about it that like I didn't love it. Like I really enjoyed it, but like I wasn't like in love with it. Which brings me to kind of my like ending wrapping up topic is I feel like I've been looking back at what I read for 2015, and usually like at the end of the year you pick your favorites, and I looked at my 5-star books that I read this year. They're all like Diane Chamberlain books or Harry Potter books, and then there's like a few scattered in there that aren't either. They're just kind of like 5-star books because they're there. Very, very few 5 stars. A lot of 4s, but like there's a lot of 3s. Like I don't know. Like I feel like this year I've read a lot of books that I've enjoyed, but I haven't like loved a lot of books this year. And the fact that I read 145 books and I haven't really loved any, or like you notice that like the books that are in my top 5, like my 5 stars for my books this year, they're all by authors that I've loved previously. Harry Potter, Diane Chamberlain, a Leanne Moriarty book is in there. Like the Nicholas Sparks, like they're books that I already would naturally give 5 stars to. So like I really want to like look back at like my reading choices, like especially like how I tell myself like you have to read this book before you can read this one, and like how I limit myself. I'm wondering if by limiting myself I'm forcing myself into books that I don't really want to read and I'm not enjoying them because I'm not ready for them, but I'm telling myself I'm ready for them. So I'm really trying to really reflect and think back on myself. Like, am I hindering my reading by doing what I'm doing? Because I feel really awful when I'm looking back and I'm like, I really didn't give many books 5 stars. Like, did I enjoy reading at all this year? Like, I don't know. It's something that I really want to think about. Is it something that you guys have thought about or realized, or maybe it's just me? That could be me too. So if you have any advice or anything like that, just let me know down below, and I will see you guys very soon.